I want to start today with a bit of a paradox.
Okay, lay it on me.
So, we are living in what is arguably the most visual era in human history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we communicate in emojis, we doom scroll through TikToks, we consume just terabytes of video content every single day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Constantly bombarded by images.
Right. So you would think, just logically speaking, that our physical spaces like our homes or cafes or workspaces, you'd think they would reflect that by becoming more abstract or maybe more purely visual.
But actually, the exact opposite has happened.
Exactly. If you walk into a trendy coffee shop right now or just scroll through any interior design feed, you aren't really seeing a lot of ambiguous abstract art anymore.
No, not real.
You aren't seeing complex geometric symbolism. What you are seeing everywhere is text.
Just words.
Just words, usually glowing, usually bright, literally spelled out right there on the wall. Something like stay wild or open.
It is essentially the live, laugh, love phenomenon, but evolved.
Yes. It is live, laugh, love, but with a massive glow up. Literally glowing, because it's usually neon, it is custom, it is highly specific. And that is exactly what we are unpacking in our deep dive today.
It is such a fascinating shift in how we decorate.
It really is. We have this amazing stack of research today from heartneon.com, and it's all about the power of language in modern interior design. And the central mission for us today isn't just to ask why this looks cool.
Right, because it does look cool, but there is so much more to it.
Exactly. We want to know why, in an incredibly visual world, are we suddenly so obsessed with reading our walls? Why are we choosing words over symbols?
It sounds like a purely aesthetic trend on the surface, like shiplap or mid-century modern furniture. But when you dig into the psychology behind it, which is what we're going to do, it is actually a direct response to cognitive overload.
Cognitive overload.
Yeah, it is about direct communication, identity, memory, and how we process information when our brains are just utterly exhausted.
So, wait, are we just dumbing down our decor? Is that the takeaway here for you? Like, we are too tired to look at a complex painting, so we just want a literal sign that says chill.
I mean, that is definitely the cynical take.
I can be a little cynical.
But honestly,
Yeah.
partially yes. But it is not about being dumb. It is about efficiency. We crave clarity.
Okay, let's get into that efficiency, because the source material draws this really sharp line between using symbols and using words. Let's start with part one here, the power of directness.
Right. Think about the history of art in the home for a second. For
Yeah.
centuries, if you wanted to convey a specific vibe or feeling, you used a symbol.
Okay, like what?
Well, say you hang a massive painting of a storm at sea.
Okay, so that's turmoil or
Right.
power.
Maybe nature.
Sure. Or maybe it just means you really like boats.
Fair point.
Or say you hang a geometric circle on the wall. Is it supposed to represent unity? Is it eternity? Is it just a giant zero? Is it a portal to another dimension?
It's totally ambiguous. Exactly. There is this cognitive gap. Your brain has to look at the visual input, process it through your own personal and cultural filters, and then somehow assign a meaning to it. And doing that takes energy.
It requires work. And ambiguity leaves a lot of room for confusion.
It does. Now contrast that with the modern alternative. You walk into a room and there's a glowing sign that simply says dream or better together.
There is zero ambiguity there. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do or feel.
It completely removes the guesswork. The argument heartneon.com makes is that in a fast-moving world, and we are talking about a world where you and I are making thousands of micro decisions every single day, direct communication feels like a massive relief.
We just don't have the bandwidth to deconstruct the artistic merit of a vague shape anymore.
Precisely. We crave binary certainty. The word tells you exactly what the space stands for immediately without any need for artistic deconstruction.
That is so interesting. So it is almost a reaction to the chaos outside. The world is confusing, the economy is confusing, the news is confusing. But I walk into my living room and my wall literally tells me, good vibes only. It is a command.
It is a constraint.
Mhm.
And psychological constraints can be very comforting. It cuts right through the noise. It is not asking you to feel something vaguely. It is telling you what to feel.
Which kind of brings up a question of authenticity, doesn't it? Like, if I have to hang a sign to tell you the vibes are good, are they actually good?
That is the million-dollar question right there. Right? And it perfectly transitions into this distinction between decorating and declaring.
Oh, I loved this part of the reading.
It's brilliant.
The idea that hanging a symbol or a picture is passive, but
Mhm.
hanging a word is an active choice.
It is the difference between simply setting a scene and delivering a manifesto. If you put up some floral wallpaper, you are just decorating. You are saying, hey, I appreciate this nice aesthetic. But if you hang a bright sign that says create, you are declaring a value system. You are actively anchoring your identity to that specific word.
It feels a lot like branding.
Because it is branding. That is exactly what it is.
Which totally makes sense for a business. If I walk into a cafe and the wall says, but first, coffee, they are establishing a brand voice. They are communicating, hey, we are cheeky, we are relatable, we know you are tired.
Precisely. Retail spaces and cafes use this aggressively. They want you to understand the personality of the shop before you even have a chance to look at the menu.
Sure, that's just smart business.
But what is really fascinating is how we have taken that corporate branding strategy and imported it directly into our personal spaces, our bedrooms and living rooms.
We are literally treating ourselves like startups.
In a way, we are. We are curating our personal brand for any guest who happens to walk in.
So if a couple hangs a glowing sign over their bed that says forever, or maybe their shared last name, they are doing the same thing Nike does with just do it.
Exactly. They are distilling their entire relationship identity down to a single slogan. They are turning the room into a statement rather than just a furnished area.
Is that healthy, though? I mean, it feels a little performative, like, look at us, look how forever we are, look at our brand.
It can definitely lean into performative territory, but the psychological research suggests it is also deeply aspirational. And this is where we get into the brain science of it all, which is super cool.
Yes, let's talk about the science.
It isn't just about showing off to your guests. It is about signaling to yourself.
This is the semantic memory concept from the sources, right?
Yes. So your brain processes text and abstract images in completely different ways. Images go to the visual cortex. They are processed as raw shapes, colors, and patterns.
Okay.
Words, however, trigger what psychologists call semantic memory. That is meaning-based recall.
So when I see the word calm glowing on my wall, I am not just seeing the shape of a C, an A, an L, and an M.
No, not at all. You are instantly accessing the dictionary definition, the emotional feeling, and your entire personal history with the concept of calmness.
Wow. It's a mental shortcut.
It bypasses that whole messy interpretation phase we talked about earlier and hits the meaning center directly. And because it is usually lit up, it absolutely commands your attention.
You can't not read it.
Exactly. If you see clear text in your environment, your brain reads it automatically. You cannot toggle that function off.
So if I have the word hustle above my desk, my brain is essentially forced to read hustle 50 times a day, whether I want to or not.
Yes, it creates a constant feedback loop. By seeing a phrase repeatedly in your environment, it becomes internalized. This is exactly why motivational quotes are so wildly popular.
It isn't because they are incredibly complex or profound literature.
Right. It is because they are repeatable. The repetition actually builds identity. If you structure your environment to literally scream joy at you, you are statistically more likely to associate that physical space with the feeling of joy. The decor actually reinforces the very idea it displays.
But I have to push back on this just a little bit. What about the gaslighting effect?
The gaslighting effect.
Yeah. Say I am having the absolute worst day of my life. My car broke down, I lost my job, my dog ran away. And I come home and my wall is aggressively screaming, good vibes, only in bright neon pink. I might want to put a brick right through that wall.
That is a very real risk. You run into the trap of toxic positivity in interior design.
Exactly. It feels so inflexible. An abstract painting can feel somber if I'm feeling somber. It can feel hopeful if I'm feeling hopeful. It shifts with me. But a word is permanently locked in.
That is a totally valid point. A word doesn't really leave any room for nuance. But honestly, I think that lack of nuance is actually why people are so drawn to it right now.
Why is that?
Because we don't always want nuance at home. Sometimes we just want an anchor. If the outside world feels entirely chaotic and unpredictable, you want your home to be the one place that delivers a clear, unchangeable message.
So it's saying this is a safe space no matter what happened today.
Exactly. Or this is a happy place, even if you have to fake it until you make it on those really bad days.
So we are essentially using interior design to program our own daily moods.
We are hacking our semantic memory to stabilize our emotional states.
Okay, that makes it sound significantly deeper than just picking up a cheeky sign at a home goods store.
Yeah.
But we definitely can't talk about this trend without bringing up the device we are all holding in our hands 24/7, the phone.
Oh, the social media ecosystem. The camera in the room, you can't ignore it.
Right. The reading makes it very clear that social media is a massive driver of this phenomenon, which makes logical sense. But how does bold text actually fit into the ideal Instagram aesthetic? Because I would have naturally assumed a beautiful, intricate, hand-painted mural would be way more Instagrammable.
You would definitely think so. But
Yeah.
you have to think about the mechanics of the scroll. When you are looking at your phone, you are scrolling through a feed at incredibly high speeds.
Just flying through content,
Yeah. Right. And a complex image with lots of subtle detail and muted colors takes your brain a full second or two to decode.
which is too slow for the algorithm.
Way too slow. You've already scrolled past it, but a glowing word. You recognize a glowing word in a fraction of a millisecond. It actively stops the scroll.
It grabs the attention instantly.
But more importantly than that, it serves multiple digital functions simultaneously. It is a physical object in the room, sure, but digitally it is a built-in caption.
Oh, I see. It's doing the work for you.
Exactly. If you take a selfie in a cafe sitting in front of a wall that glows with the phrase bad decisions, you don't even need to write a clever caption for your post. The wall already did the heavy lifting. It provides immediate, recognizable context.
It tells the viewer exactly what the mood of the photo is supposed to be.
It makes the physical space literally readable and searchable. In a digital ecosystem, text is metadata. Words are the ultimate currency.
Because a geometric shape is just a shape, but a word is basically a hashtag.
You hit the nail on the head. It connects the physical reality of the room you are standing in directly to the digital reality of the internet. Words travel faster than symbols in the attention economy. Communication wins out over pure aesthetics every time.
So we're actually designing our physical homes and businesses to be perfectly optimized for digital consumption.
We are blurring the lines entirely. We're essentially living our lives on a production set, and the script for that set is literally written on the walls.
That is slightly dystopian to think about, but I also completely understand the appeal. It perfectly explains why these designated Instagram walls are a mandatory feature in every single bar, restaurant, and cafe that opens up these days.
It is basically free marketing. It is user-generated content just waiting to happen. You put a witty, glowing phrase up, people take photos, they post them, they tag your location. It is quite possibly the most efficient marketing strategy available today.
Let's pivot and talk about the actual hardware for a second. Because we keep tossing around the word neon, but we aren't usually talking about those old-school, buzzing, highly fragile glass tubes filled with actual neon gas anymore, are we?
No, absolutely not. And that technological shift is a crucial part of why this specific trend is exploding right now.
How so?
Well, think about it. If we were having this conversation 30 years ago, having a custom neon sign installed in your living room would be an absolute nightmare.
Because they were dangerous.
Super dangerous, high voltage, incredibly hot to the touch, prohibitively expensive to get custom made, and if you accidentally bumped it with a broom, the glass shatters everywhere.
And they always had that highly annoying electric hum.
Yes, the constant hum of anxiety. But today, the vast majority of what we are seeing is LED neon.
Which changes the game entirely.
Completely. LED neon is flexible, it is incredibly durable, and it is highly energy efficient. This new technology democratized the entire aesthetic. You no longer need to be a wealthy nightclub owner to afford glowing text. Anyone can hop online and order a custom, perfectly safe sign for their bedroom or home office.
That makes total sense. But it does raise another question for me. Why light in the first place? Why not just paint the words on the wall? Stencils are incredibly cheap.
Because light fundamentally gives language weight.
Wait, okay, break that down for me. What do you mean by weight?
Think about a word painted flat on a wall. It is strictly two-dimensional. It reflects ambient light, sure, but it does not create its own light. It relies entirely on the room's external lighting just to be seen.
Right. So if you turn off the overhead lamp, the painted word essentially disappears into the shadows.
Exactly. But a neon word is the primary light source. When you dim the lights in a room, the painted word vanishes, but the glowing neon word suddenly becomes the single most important and visible thing in the entire space.
It totally commands the visual hierarchy of the room.
It pulls the eye effortlessly, and it creates a bold focal point that feels distinctly premium. The analysis we read from heartneon.com really touches on this core idea that clarity feels expensive.
That ties perfectly into modern design trends, doesn't it?
It does. Think about a highly cluttered, traditional room versus a sleek, minimalist, modern room. Minimalism always feels richer, more intentional.
Right. Fewer objects, cleaner lines.
And text fits flawlessly into that modern minimalism. Instead of trying to show off your personality by filling a giant bookshelf with 30 random decorative knickknacks, you just put one single glowing word on the bare wall.
It simplifies the entire room while instantly clarifying the mood.
It is cleaner. It is bolder. It is basically saying, I do not need a bunch of physical clutter to tell you who I am. I can sum up my entire ethos in 4 brightly lit letters.
It is the architectural equivalent of the difference between giving a rambling 20-minute speech and just dropping the mic after one perfect sentence.
Exactly. It projects supreme confidence. And that underlying confidence completely changes how the room feels to anyone in it. It shifts it from a passive space where stuff just happens to reside into an active space with a clear, defined purpose.
So if we zoom out and look at the big picture here, we have charted this journey from the ambiguity and cognitive load of traditional symbols all the way to the undeniable clarity and direct declaration of text.
A massive shift from simple decoration to active, constant communication.
We have seen how it anchors personal identity, or at least the aspirational identity we really want to project to the world. We've seen how it hacks our brain's semantic memory to build that identity through repetition,
How it perfectly feeds the demands of the social media algorithm.
and how it utilizes the physical properties of light to completely dominate a minimalist space.
It really is the total package when you break it down. It simultaneously appeals to our deep cognitive processes, our personal egos, and our smartphones, all at the exact same time.
It really does. But I keep going back to that idea of the command, the good vibes only or the breathe signs, because I think that is the part that is going to stick with me the most.
Yeah.
The realization that we are literally using our walls to actively coach ourselves through life.
We really are. And despite my earlier cynicism about the whole thing, I actually think that is a genuinely beautiful concept.
Me too.
The world outside is incredibly draining. It just is. So if you can strategically use your interior design to give yourself a tiny little dopamine hit, or a gentle reminder to simply breathe, or even just a glowing reminder of your family name to make you feel grounded, that is functional design at its finest.
It is design that serves a crucial psychological purpose, not merely a superficial aesthetic one. It transforms the home into an active participant in your daily life. It is not just a passive wooden box you sleep in anymore. It is actively speaking to you.
And by choosing the words carefully, you are speaking right back to it. All of these insights today really highlight what the folks at theheartneon.com are talking about. They focus heavily on how customizable LED neon designs have to prioritize that clarity, that durability, and that modern aesthetic.
Because sometimes the absolute most powerful symbol you can possibly hang on a wall is just a word.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought today. Something to mull over that kind of builds on everything we've talked about.
Oh, I like where this is going.
We've talked a lot about the power of the glowing word, the active declaration. But what happens when you flip the switch? When the neon sign is actually turned off?
That's a great question.
Does the room suddenly lose its identity when the light goes out? Or has that semantic memory done its job so well? Has the repetition been so effective that the space is permanently changed in your mind, even in the dark?
Oh, that is heavy. Have we internalized the message so deeply that the wall doesn't even need to speak anymore?
Exactly. Does the ghost of the word still command the room? It's something to think about the next time you see one of these signs. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into visible language for today. Thanks for reading the room with us.
Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
We will catch you on the next one.